Hello everyone. It's wonderful to see you again. We appreciate your presence with us today. We have a captivating tale waiting to unfold for you. Let us embark on this journey together. My name is Christopher, and this tale unfolds on a night I believed would transform my existence. A night meticulously crafted in my mind, each detail carefully considered. The evening I planned to ask the woman I believed would be my forever filled me with a mix of excitement and nerves. Yet, deep down, I felt a profound certainty that I was choosing the path that Christophered with my heart. For months, I had been envisioning this moment, each shared experience weaving a tapestry of our journey together. Abigail and I had spent years side by side, and in my heart, there was never any doubt about the path we were destined to take. Our paths crossed in college, and what began as a friendship gradually blossomed into something deeper and more meaningful. We began our journey together a year ago. She possessed an intelligence and beauty that captivated me, making me feel like the most Christopher man alive. That was my belief in those moments. I dedicated weeks to finding the ideal ring, something graceful yet unpretentious, a reflection of her essence. Just as we harmonized that evening, I finally embraced it, cradling the delicate velvet box in my hands. I could already envision the expression that would grace her face as I knelt before her. I pictured her breath catching, hands instinctively rising to her mouth, before the moment of joy when she would finally utter that sweet affirmation. It was as if the universe was aligning perfectly in that instant. Unbeknownst to me, the very foundations of my beliefs were on the verge of being shattered. I invited a handful of our dearest friends, those who have stood by us during our journey together. Their enthusiasm mirrored my own, filling the air with warmth and anticipation. We had shared our thoughts on this plan for weeks, ensuring that every detail Christophered perfectly. I envisioned the scene vividly. Abigail's astonished gaze, the sparkle of joy illuminating her eyes, the delicate way she would cover her mouth in sheer disbelief before finally whispering her affirmation. That was the way it was meant to unfold. As we approached Abigail's house that evening, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation, as if the universe was holding its breath for something extraordinary. My friends, in on the secret, lingered just outside, their excitement palpable. Struggling to hold back their thrill, they held their phones, eager to seize the fleeting moment, prepared to embrace the dawn of what was meant to be the next beautiful chapter of my journey. I found it difficult to hold back my excitement. I was on the brink of asking the woman who held my heart to share a life with me as my wife. Rather than knocking on the door as I usually do, I chose to elevate the moment, aiming to surprise Abigail in a way that would leave her breathless. As I retrieved the spare key she had entrusted to me long ago, a symbol of her faith in my presence, I felt a warmth envelop me. I turned the lock gently, pushing the back door open with a delicate touch, mindful of the silence as I crossed the threshold into her world. My heart fluttered with anticipation. I could already envision the scene unfolding in my mind. Abigail would be utterly taken aback at first. She would feel a swirl of emotions, curious about the unexpected turn that led me to her home without prior notice. Then I will invite her to step outside. And when she turns, she will see our friends waiting there. Before she could even voice her curiosity, I would find myself on one knee, presenting the ring, and her expression would illumine Christopher with the shared joy between us. Observing the delicate dance of moments as they reveal themselves, she would come to understand the depth of my contemplation behind this. It would be a moment just for us. That's precisely how I envisioned it. That was the way it was meant to unfold. Yet, life often unfolds in unexpected ways. I entered softly, my heart pounding not from anxiety, but from a thrill that coursed through me. Yet, before I could make my way to the living room, her voice reached me, drawing me in. It drifted from down the hall, gentle and close, a tone that wrapped around the senses. She never shared that with me. I paused, my initial thrill giving way to a gentle sense of wonder. Whom was she confiding in? I edged a bit nearer, lingering just outside her bedroom door. I didn't mean to listen in. I simply wished to allow her the space to complete her thoughts, ensuring I wouldn't intrude upon her moment of connection. As I absorbed his words, a flutter of unease stirred within me after the weekend we shared. I know I must find a gentle way to express my feelings. It's you I desire, not him. He would always hold it against me. But does it truly matter? I stood still, caught in the moment. My thoughts faded into a soft haze, as if a gentle hand had swept away every idea, leaving only a whisper of silence. Did I truly hear that correctly? Perhaps it was a figment of my imagination, perhaps she was referring to a different subject, someone entirely different. I lingered in that moment, attempting to unravel her words in my mind, wishing for a misinterpretation. Yet the truth was unmistakable. She spoke of me. She was drawn to another. The ring box nestled in my pocket seemed to grow heavier with each passing moment. I had been weaving dreams of our future, imagining the life we could share. Yet, for Lena, I sensed I was merely a fleeting presence, and my breath caught in my throat. Why was she toying with my emotions? Was I not enough? Had this been unfolding for weeks? Months had passed, leaving me to wonder if anything between us had ever truly existed. I felt an overwhelming urge to leave. I turned and stepped away, seeking the freedom beyond. I stepped outside, my legs moving with a life of their own, as if I were no longer fully present in my body. A gentle numbness enveloped me, and in that moment, I caught sight of my friend. Their smiles radiated warmth, pulling me back into the world. What just happened? Feels like everything changed in an instant. One of them asked, gently taking hold of my arm. I shook my head, my voice barely a whisper. I just needed to leave. The worry in their eyes was palpable, yet I couldn't linger to share my reasons. In the stillness, I occasionally caught the soft echo of her footsteps drifting from within the house. Lena likely sensed the disturbance, an instinctive awareness stirring within her as she approached the front door. She paused, her breath catching in her throat. She sensed my presence lingering in the air. I had heard everything. Her expression contorted with a rush of panic. "Christopher," she called out, hurrying toward me, but it was already too late. I had slipped away. That night, my phone vibrated softly on the nightstand. I looked at the screen, and there it was, Lena's name, lingering for just a moment. I found myself lost in thought, my mind a quiet void. The hours had slipped away as I wrestled with my emotions, attempting to cast aside the weight of it all. I could have chosen to look away. I should have, but I didn't. A mix of curiosity and anger, perhaps even a lingering, vulnerable part of me that still sought answers, compelled me to reach out. I inhaled deeply. I steadied myself and then swiped to answer. Her voice came through, light and cheerful, as if nothing had happened. "Hello, darling. I heard from the guys that you visited tonight, and it left me utterly captivated. Were you truly going to propose?" I felt a flutter in my stomach. She feigned an understanding of the situation, yet her demeanor suggested a delightful ignorance, as if she hadn't been discovered. Was she truly sincere in her act? Did she truly believe I was unaware, that I hadn't sensed her presence? Or was this merely another of her playful intrigues, a fresh endeavor to shape the story? I allowed the silence to linger, striving to maintain a steady breath. I resolved not to reveal my feelings to her. She wished I could contain the turmoil within, to refrain from shouting or pleading for clarity. She was not worthy of that kind of energy from me when she noticed my silence. Her voice lingered in the air once more. What happened? Her voice was now a gentle whisper, each word laced with a feigned concern that seemed to linger in the air. I released a slow breath, my voice steady yet edged with intensity. Indeed, there seems to have been a misstep. In the stillness, I envisioned her poised with the phone, searching for her next step. Perhaps she was on the verge of shedding tears that weren't entirely genuine. Perhaps she attempted to shift the focus onto me. Perhaps she attempted to persuade me that I had misinterpreted the situation. But I wasn't allowing her that opportunity. I'm finished, Lena, with it all. I let the silence linger, not seeking an answer. She was left without a chance to express anything further. I ended the call. The following days enveloped me in a soft, dreamlike fog, lost in a haze of thoughts, struggling to find clarity. It wasn't merely heartbreak. It was a betrayal so profound that it led me to reevaluate every aspect of my existence. How could I have been so unaware? The first thing I did was tuck the ring away into a drawer, hidden from view. For each time I caught a glimpse of it, my stomach would knot with unease. That ring was meant to symbolize eternity. Now it served only as a whisper of what I nearly embraced. Erasing the pictures proved to be more challenging than I had anticipated. Years of memories vanished in an instant. Every journey, every holiday, every candid moment we cherished now feels like a distant illusion. Yet, I compelled myself to press delete, knowing that holding on to them would only complicate my journey forward. I believed I had finished confronting my feelings for her. A few days later, my phone rang, and it was Lena's Amelia on the line, stirring a mix of emotions within me. I lingered for a moment, unsure whether to reach for it. What could they desire so deeply? In defiance of my own instincts, I responded to her mother, whose voice was gentle and filled with uncertainty. "Christopher, Lena has just reached out to us. She shared that you decided to part ways." Her tears flowed softly. We simply sought to grasp the unfolding events as I let my eyelids gently fall shut. As she inhaled deeply, it was clear she would weave her narrative, casting herself in the role of the victim. I should have anticipated this. Did she share the reasons behind my actions? I inquired, my voice unwavering, and after a moment of silence, her father let out a deep sigh. She claimed she did nothing, and I nearly chuckled at the absurdity of it all. I took a deep breath, reminding myself to remain composed. She held back the truth, so I revealed everything: the proposal, the phone call, the other man. I maintained a steady tone, presenting the facts without anger or raised voices, just the reality of the situation. When I concluded, silence enveloped the line. At last, her father broke the stillness. His voice weighted with emotion. "We were completely unaware. Of course, they didn't see it. Lena was skilled at masking her true self. She had everyone under her spell. We'll uncover the truth," her mom said. I felt I didn't need their help. It was already finished. Yet, a part of me pondered, if they had truly seen the essence of her, would they have cautioned me or urged her to hold back? A week has passed since it all unfolded. I was beginning to sense a gentle shift towards feeling more at ease. The initial days had been a whirlwind of turmoil, frustration, and restless nights. Yet, I found myself thinking of Lena less frequently, or so I convinced myself. Then my phone rang. I caught a glimpse of the screen and noticed Evelyn's name, Lena's closest companion. I nearly allowed it to slip into voicemail. It had been a while since I last spoke to Evelyn, not since the day of the proposal, and truthfully, I was reluctant to engage with anyone tied to Lena. Yet, an instinct deep within urged me to pick up the call. Her voice carried a weight of seriousness from the very beginning. "Let's skip the trivialities. Genuine care only. Let's get right to it, Christopher. There's something important you should understand." I chose to remain still, allowing the moment to linger before I replied. My heart raced, a quiet anticipation building within me, for I sensed that her words would only deepen the turmoil I already felt. Evelyn inhaled deeply. Lena's actions went beyond mere betrayal. She revealed that she was leading a life divided. My hold on the phone grew more intense. "Could you clarify what you mean?" She was sharing moments with him that you weren't aware of. For months now, she has been caught in this cycle. And this isn't the first time it has unfolded in front of Christopher. In every relationship, I felt that familiar flutter of unease in my stomach. She has someone on standby. Evelyn lingered in her thoughts, never fully surrendering to anyone until she felt certain of which man truly Christophered with her. I found myself at a loss for words. I found myself sitting in silence, attempting to grasp the unfolding situation. Evelyn continued to speak, her words flowing like a river. She had no intention of revealing that the plan was for you to propose first, leaving the decision of commitment hanging in the air. Meanwhile, the other man had never truly cared for her. His intentions were merely fleeting moments of passion. He never envisioned a future with her, much less a commitment, and yet there it was, the truth I hadn't realized I was longing to uncover. A profound emptiness washed over me as I came to understand that Lena never perceived me as someone truly significant. She never held the love for me that I had so deeply cherished for her. I was merely a choice, a comforting presence. The clues were evident in her occasional distance, yet she could be tender when it suited her. She never spoke of the future, yet kept me tethered, and now she finds herself with nothing left. I let out a breath, my hand still holding the phone tightly. Evelyn remained on the line, her presence lingering in the air. Anticipation hung in the air, yet silence enveloped us, leaving no words to bridge the distance. I expressed my gratitude for her reaching out and gently concluded the call. At last, clarity washed over me, guiding me to a profound decision. I refused to allow this to shatter my spirit. Indeed, it was painful. Indeed, it stirred my thoughts for some time, yet I was determined not to allow Lena's betrayal to shape my identity. I immersed myself in my work, channeling my energy into my aspirations. In the moments I had set aside, while I was focused on crafting a future with someone who never truly recognized my essence, I rediscovered old passions and rekindled friendships. For the first time in ages, I felt the warmth of living for my own sake. Then one afternoon, my phone buzzed. I glanced at the screen. It was Lena, with a single message waiting for me. "May we share a moment together?" I lingered on it for a moment, not out of a desire to reply, but due to its undeniable familiarity. She found herself without a safety net. She had taken a risk and faced the consequences, and now she yearned for a conversation. I left the message untouched, lingering in the air between us. I smiled, blocked her number, and moved on. Some love stories aren't destined for a happy ending, and you know what? That's perfectly fine, as not every conclusion requires a neat finish. At times, the truest fulfillment comes from embracing your own worth rather than longing for the affection of someone who never truly valued you. What are your thoughts? Have you ever found yourself in a moment like this? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If this story resonates with you, please consider liking and sharing it. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to our next encounter.